edition of Never Scared Podcast, man. We're back at you guys again to give you some more heat. Sekou is not frozen down there. Don't believe that, man. You know, he's doing what he's doing, you know. Hey, look. Y'all know the name of the show today, man. We're gonna get into the David, what it was, Chauvin, the Chauvin case, the verdict that came in, and he was guilty on all charges. Derek Chauvin, you know, and the George Floyd case. We're also gonna discuss the Micaiah Brand situation that happened in Columbus during the verdict of the George Floyd's case. We're gonna touch on that to see how you guys feel about that, and then see if we can get to the end of that situation and how that went down, man. Without further ado, I am one of your hosts, Twan Don here, man. I got my man Chris in the house.
What's up?
The boy Sekou is in the house. And the beautiful First Lady Precious is back with us again, man. She ain't going nowhere. So, hey, look, man, y'all see the title of the show? Yeah, we just gonna get right into it, man. I mean, yesterday we got the verdict back, and it was guilty on all charges. But was this a victory for Black people around the country? Was it a victory? Was it just a smokescreen? Should we use this as positivity going forward, or you know, some people are gonna be like, this means nothing? You know, we're just gonna hop right into it, man. You know what I'm saying, and get our natural opinions on this matter today, man. Who wants to hop in there and go first on this matter today?
I always like to talk. So, like, I don't think it was a smokescreen, right? I do feel like under different circumstances when there or where there wouldn't have been so many eyes, like we're being watched, right? All eyes was on this situation. So if it could have gone another way, it may have, but it couldn't. You see what I'm saying? Because like nobody really wanted that smoke. Then you got to use your whole passport to make reservations to like move out the country at this point, because it ain't gonna be nothing safe over here. So accountability, yes. Justice, You're accountable for what you did. Now you're accountable. We brought you up on charges and you were found guilty for what you did. So you have to be accountable for what you did. But was there justice?
That's the main question.
Preach, preacher, sister.
I'm gonna hop in here. I'm gonna hop in here right after she just said it, and I'm gonna say no. It was not justice. Like she said, look. I only think it's half accountability. My first thing that I said after I'm going into it is I said that if they find him guilty, my first reaction was America just doesn't want to see that the country get tore up and set on fire. So I thought this was kind of, I truly believe the government got on the phone with some people and said, are y'all ready to deal with this? Do we have the manpower to deal with this? Because I think if this guy comes back innocent, then what happened in California after that verdict,
1994?
Yeah, you know, when they set LA on damn fire, I think it would have been major cities around the country. And so, you know, is this a little conspiracy theory? No, I don't think it is at all. I know this government and how much in this country and how greedy this country is and how much they love their stuff and their buildings and how much people love money. And if they had to sacrifice this one white cop to keep their shit, so bad.
You the sacrificial lamb, my dude.
I think white America put them out there and said, hey, look, you ain't worth me losing my stuff, bro.
Oh, they the only mofos on the planet that will offer up a sacrificial lamb.
Exactly.
They will absolutely offer up, listen, this is all we got. This is what you want. This is all we got. Like, literally.
I'm trying to help you out, but when the cops come forward and they say you're guilty, it's not a whole lot we can do. So that's how I'm starting off. Cool. What's on your mind, brother?
I was just laughing. I mean, like his face alone, let you know that
Priceless.
he had that look like, wait, what y'all talking about? Like, get the me?
Me?
You
Like under the mask, you could see it was in his eyes. Like it was like from here up, like
guilty? Wait, wait, me?
it was like
That was his Denzel Washington training day moment when when they pulled the gun on him. When they pulled the gun on him in there, you know, like, wait, hold up. Y'all doing this to me?
to me.
He was like, yo,
I'm gonna pull cases on all
All of
y'all.
y'all.
Hey, but on a more serious note though, so check this out. This has a more global impact than I'm not gonna say than what most people actually realize. A lot of people, a lot of countries,
They were
like
watching.
every country around the world was actually looking at this verdict. Every country was watching this verdict. You had countries that had murals and you know, just statues and shit of George Floyd, like real talk. You have other countries that have George Floyd memorials in their own countries. But the problem that I have is that the narrative is going to end up being twisted again, because just like they tried to twist it during the case, like George Floyd he had drugs in the system, and it was supposedly that he could have, you know what I'm saying? He could have died. He could have died from that. You know what I mean?
got COVID too.
Right. And then see what happens is,
Fumes.
with all due respect, and you know, we gotta like, this is never scared, so I gotta say the shit. So with all due respect, we are putting the face of justice upon a brother, because what they're gonna do is they're gonna look at George Floyd criminal history, and they're gonna look at him. They're gonna be like, because other countries don't. There a lot of other countries don't know that shit. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna look at his criminal history and be like, well, damn, we fighting for shit, and then they're gonna justify. Well, look at this man. That's what the enemy always do. That's what the white people gonna do. That's what they're gonna say. Hey, look at this man. Look at his criminal history. This is justifiable, and everything is always gonna be justifiable. Just like that was part of Derek Chauvin's fucking premise for putting his knee on his neck, because of all the situations and all the cause that they have had for this particular Mr. You know what I'm saying, Mr. George Floyd, which should not carry no weight, but it's gonna carry weight, because we're talking about when we actually tried this case in the media, and we tried this shit in the community way before the case. Way before the case. I mean, you got to look at even the judge. The judge was like, if the judge is going to say, hey, Maxine Waters, because Maxine Waters was making some comments, even the president made some comments on the lines of, hey, we are praying for a guilty verdict. And they did these things when the jury was whatever, it suppressed or whatever, when the jury was deliberating. When the jury definitely should not be watching any media, because they are already instructed not to do that. But in the judge, when when the defense brought that up in the case, the judge he kind of like went in on Maxine a little bit. It was like, he don't want official, he wish officials would stay out of yada yada yada. He almost gave a premise for him to say, okay, this may be grounds for you to get a mistrial. So, but my thing is, if this is grounds for you to get a mistrial, why the hell are you proceeding now? So the whole shit is on some bullshit, but it shouldn't be trial. It shouldn't be grounds for no mistrial, because the jury was already instructed not to be looking at no damn the news or any of that shit. But when we look at this shit, it's always got to be something when we're dealing with us as Black people. I'm sorry, what'd you say, bro?
They brought that to their attention. The
Right.
jury didn't know about that. The defense attorney brought that.
Yeah. I get that. I get that. But I'm just saying, it's
No,
always
like he couldn't kill it because they put it in play.
Right. So what and I get all that. What I'm saying is that when we say we got a victory, I mean we got a premature victory. We got you know what I'm saying, we got a victory for now. It's like I'm kind of immune to the shit, honestly. I'm kind of immune. this shit been going on for so long, bro. I just try to damn do right by my family, my friends, man, and keep it moving, man. Cause
And so that's the thing, and not to cut you off, Christian, but that's the thing. We can't become immune to losing another Black life in the community. Like we just can't. Like, because it could be your cousin, it could be your brother, it could be somebody in your family. You're direct, you're directly affected by this particular thing. Like you can't just say, well, yo, I'm numb to it. Like, and unfortunately, that is the actual issue. The actual issue is that everyone has become desensitized to losing another Black life. Like that's the problem.
it's true.
So how do we we know the problem, right? I'm solutions based. We know the problem. This is the problem. We keep losing Black lives. How do we flip the script? Keep talking about police reform, right? But what does police reform look like? What does law enforcement? What does that look like?
There is no police
For
reform.
me, I don't think it's police reform. I think until we start teaching our kids in kindergarten, little white kids, that Black people didn't just get here in slavery, because most people growing up in the United States learn about Black history like we came from slavery. Like that's it. Like, and that's it. We learned a little bit of that, and we learned some Roman history, and we learned American history, and that was and we didn't learn about we was the slaves. Like we didn't learn about that shit. I didn't learn my people was the slaves in high school. I had to learn that shit from my people. You know what I'm saying? Until we teach motherfuckers, start from there. Like we got to start from. If we can change this shit in 18 years if we start now. If you start at kindergarten, because everybody at fucking kindergarten need to know Black people built this shit. And we don't need to reform. Reform means we reforming what's already there. No, we need to rebuild. We don't need to reform no police department. We need to re-fucking build. The police department was already built on the premise of fucking KKK, was built on white supremacy. How can you reform something that was already built on that? You got to rebuild the foundation. If you can't reform something that the foundation's still there, the people are still fucking there.
Well, then the other part to that is then now you're talking about that's a whole different keg of nails. Because now you're talking about rewriting the Constitution.
Why not?
I'm with it. But I'm saying you can't just start there. You got to go all the way back.
They expect us to stand up for the fucking national anthem. Like, really? The fuck out of here. I ain't doing that shit again in my life, bro. Never for that shit.
It's different that y'all say that, like it has to go back to the Constitution. And this country was built off racism. And these good old boys in this country ain't trying to change. One thing I get tired of hearing with white America is when they say their forefathers. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to change what they know to be as tradition and how it was written. Look, man, any country that is still living by rules that was written in 1776, and you don't want to change and revise things.
Give Black people Idaho and South Dakota. That's all. Just give us Idaho and South Dakota. We won't fuck with y'all. If you just give us Idaho and South Dakota.
That ain't the answer, bro. That ain't the answer.
I promise you that's the answer.
That ain't the answer.
Like, bro, if we just had our own shit.
Chris, so you want to put us in 2 states where they know where we are and bomb the shit out of us?
But here's the thing: that's indigenous territory. So you're talking more POC. You're talking more people of color. Like,
no. Man, this felt like, I'm gonna be real with you. Not the case itself, but when they read that verdict, this felt like, for Black people, this felt like when OJ got off. We knew he was guilty, but we just wanted white America to feel how we feel. Let me finish, Chris. How we feel. So it had those undertones of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, again, it's been so long since we got a win that, and I'm trying to explain this. It felt good to see us win. You know what I'm saying? Again, or whatever, except this time, just like the time before, that was on camera too. This time, when we won, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, it was like, because, okay, the point I'm getting to is this. We didn't see any footage of them. You know, like with the OJ case, they show footage of a whole bunch of white people in one room, black people on the streets or whatever. We saw no groups of white people yesterday on TV. They didn't want to show that picture. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you they were gathered for that verdict just like we were. You know? And it feels good in a bad kind of way sometimes, but that's just me. When we can say, silently say, you see how that feels? You see how that feels? Like to the KKK,
but that's
whoever
the
else
thing.
you see how that feels?
But
You
that's
see
the
how
thing,
that
though,
feels?
Twan. Like 2 lives were lost, right?
Right.
We're talking about a black man lost his life, right? And a white man's going to jail. And that's our victory lap. Like
That's what I'm saying.
like,
It's not. That's
like
what I'm
that's
saying.
our
That's why I
victory
said
lap.
it's not a victory.
Can I tell y'all
It
one
just
thing?
felt good. It felt good to
Can I
see somebody get locked up this time, walked away in cuffs. Now, see, the other thing that we
Not just
probably going to discuss a little bit later is this.
Not just somebody, an officer.
Well, a white police officer.
Officer,
Exactly.
from
Thank
all
you,
the stuff
Sekou.
that we've seen, all the
Thank you,
videos
Sekou.
we've seen. An officer.
Thank you. It felt good to see a white officer get cuffed up and go to jail. His people come out against him and all of that. It felt good. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not a victory. You know, and Precious alluded to it earlier. I think LeBron James tweeted it out or something. Accountability. But do I think cops are going to be accountable after this? Hell no. So why are we really screaming accountability?
Twan,
They're not going to stop
if
shooting
y'all were
and killing
white,
us until they see at least 10, 20 more of them go to jail.
be honest with yourselves now. If y'all were white, what would y'all be doing?
I don't know what it feels like to be white.
Think about. I don't want you to answer it. Now think about this shit. This they shit, y'all. They're white. They came and conquered this shit. They brought the fuck us over here as slaves. These people ain't supposed to just give us their shit. These people, this their shit. I mean, you gotta understand. In their mind, we're supposed.
In their mind, Twan.
They brought us over here.
This ain't their shit. It was a whole group of people that were here when they got it.
No, but he said
that's cool. But listen, when they came, no, it's their shit when they came and murdered those motherfuckers and took over. Yeah. Just like war, when you take over a place, just like a lot of people don't know, London owns Japan. Like you can own shit, you can take over some shit, just like London owns Jamaica. Yeah, the UK owns Jamaica. That's why they drive on the other side of the road.
They own.
You see what I'm saying? So you can own some shit, bro. Like when motherfuckers come and own shit, you can't expect these people just to give it. The only way shit gonna change. Listen, bro. What I'm saying is the only way shit gonna change is it's gonna have to be a war, bro. I'm just saying that's the only way the shit gonna change. You can't expect them to be like, okay, yeah, we just gonna be nice to y'all now. We brought y'all over here as slaves. Now we're supposed to just make y'all equal to us. They're not supposed to do that, bro. That's why I'm saying if we had our own land, then we can build on shit. It don't matter if it's South Africa. It don't matter. We can cultivate anywhere. But my thing is, don't expect these motherfuckers to, don't be surprised. That's why I'm saying, when I say I'm immune, I'm not surprised because they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing what they're programmed to do. That's why I say, unless we change the fucking history books, unless we change the kids, we can't change the grown people mentality.
So can I employ you guys on your next downtime? And you've probably seen it. I may just be behind, but there's a movie called Apocalypto, right? It's been out for a couple of years, but I just kind of watched it like on the humbug a couple of weeks ago when my homegirl was in town. Like, you gotta watch this. Like, can't believe you haven't seen it. And it's absolutely amazing, astounding even. And it's coming from the perspective of who were the Mayans, right? Like, and how, like, the whole, how things were taking over. Mm-hmm. You should absolutely watch it if you get a chance. Apocalypto. It's an awesome movie. And it's all in captions, so you're gonna be like a little frustrated, but it's an absolute like.
Where do you find it?
Oh, I ain't got time to watch that.
Prime Video, Hulu.
Okay. I gotta wait till they got word. I gotta wait till them people speaking. I can't do caption.
I'm telling you, Christian.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, like, you will watch it because
I'm
it's
not.
so. No, I'm telling you, you'll watch it because it's so savage. You like, yo.
That ain't the type of movies. That ain't the type. I like action movies, and if it's got a caption, I ain't
Watch
watching.
just okay,
Precious,
fine.
go
You're not
ahead,
gonna watch
Precious.
it. Fine. You're not gonna watch it, fine. But if you get
I'm
a
not.
chance,
Is
if
it
you
is
get a
it is
chance
it is
when
it
you
true?
say
Is it a
things-
true story? It's a movie. It's fiction.
Chris, let her finish her
a
point, and then we'll
Is
movie.
it
go
fiction? No, I'm saying it's a fiction.
Does it matter?
Yeah, it
Because
does.
let's
It
just be
does
clear.
because
No, because let's just be clear.
you asked me, does it
Nothing
matter?
is
No, you
fiction.
asked me, does it matter? And then you answer.
Let her
for me.
finish her
That's what you
point,
do.
and
That's
then
what you do.
can
To
speak
It
on
doesn't
You a
matter.
teacher? No, you asked me, does it matter? And I'm telling you, to me, it does. You can't tell me it don't to
Okay.
me.
So
All right, Precious,
here's
go
the
ahead,
thing.
Precious.
You
So
can't.
here's
No,
the
no, you
thing.
can't tell me it don't matter to me, right?
You can watch
get that.
it or not.
I don't want to watch anything with
All
subtitles.
right, Chris, so you're not gonna watch it.
I'm
Continue.
not watching anything with subtitles. That's
Precious,
that.
continue.
So I'm
No, I
assuming.
mean,
So
I get
I'm
it.
assuming you
You've
just never.
established
No, if it was
Look,
nonfiction,
I'm assuming you just ain't never watched
no.
no
Listen, what
Kung
I'm
Fu
saying.
or nothing.
If it was nonfiction, if
My
it was
God,
nonfiction and
man.
something that I can fuel myself with facts, then yes. But I'm not gonna sit here and watch nothing with subtitles. That's fiction. That ain't giving me nothing. It ain't fueling me with nothing. I don't need to
Chris,
see that bullshit.
You cool,
Like,
bro.
real talk.
We established that you're not watching, but let her make her point.
Go ahead, make
ahead.
it.
Chris is not watching, so
You need
this
to be
doesn't
watching.
apply to Chris.
You need to be watching. What?
Chris doesn't want to watch it.
No,
In the
This
event
doesn't
that
apply to
you
Chris. Continue.
say cool.
Let's get
and
back to these white
Antoine,
people
if
owning
y'all
shit.
Get a chance,
Let's get back
please,
to the white people owning the
if you
shit.
could watch it because
I'm not.
it's a very different perspective, and it's interesting that you're
Perspective
not
of
interested
what?
in watching the movie when you follow the calendar. Like, what's today's date?
No, I'm asking you. It's a different perspective of what?
Hold up, what's today's date?
No, you said it's a different perspective.
What is today's date?
You can't say something that I'm trying to.
Chris, you just said you're not interested in the movie. You're not
interested.
watching, so why do you care?
So why she keep talking about it then?
If
If I'm not interested, why she keep talking?
Right,
Wait a minute. You stop defending her if she keeps talking about it, bro.
I'm asking you
You telling me
today.
if I'm not interested, why keep talking about it?
No, you don't have to listen.
Oh, now I'm on the
But you can't
podcast.
tell her she
Really,
can't
bro?
make her point.
Really? So why don't you tell her to stop talking about it? You telling me really?
Precious, make your point.
It doesn't matter. But it's interesting that you literally follow the things that the Mayans created, right? But those things were also stolen. Those things were also taken. But you follow those things, but you have no interest in watching a movie in which, because I have never seen a movie that discusses like how like the calendar that we follow on a very regular basis, it was created by the Mayans. Because like for real, who told you got to work 8 hours a day? Whose idea was that?
Yeah. Wasn't no people of color, I'll tell you that much.
Y'all work.
That's a fact.
I don't work.
Why you look? Listen.
Y'all work 8 hours a day.
While she's mentioning that,
None of my kids ever seen me work for nobody.
While she's mentioning that movie, as we continue with these cases, I also, because it is based on what's going on right now with the court system and cops and white America and how they want to rule everything. I implore that y'all look at a movie. I don't know if y'all ever heard of it, but it's called They Live. They Live. And of all people, Roddy Piper, which was a wrestler, was in the movie. You know what I'm saying? In that movie.
Subtitle? Is it subtitles?
No. It's English.
Okay. Drop it in the chat.
Talking about Americans. Yeah, I'll put it. Look, put that in the chat.
You're a hater. You know what your problem is? You're a hater.
Because
that's your problem.
Because I don't like reading. Because I don't like watching movies with subtitles. I'm a hater.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I said I would watch Twan movie because I can actually listen to it. Yeah. So if I walk out the room, I can still hear it. Like I'm busy. I'm like really a single dad. I got a 4-year-old that's really upstairs. So I'm not gonna sit. I'm not sitting and watching no movie with subtitles. And plus I don't like to. And I like action movies. But if it's something informative and if it's something true,
talking about
I will
the
look at
Chauvin case.
Chauvinistic.
And she was trying to make a point with that movie compared to what we were talking to.
No, she was making a point. No,
subtitles,
the premise was no. You don't even know what she was making a point to because the topic was.
You know why I don't know? Because you didn't let her finish.
No, I know. She was trying to make a point. She was trying to give me a perspective of because I sit and said that white people own shit, And that's what she tried to tell me to watch
Right,
the
so
movie
look,
because it gave me a perspective of
let's
that.
say-
I'm right on. Listen, I'm on point. I'm always on point, bro. But my
Right.
thing is, when I'm telling y'all white people own shit, what are y'all expecting them to do? And that's what I'm trying to. That's the question that I ask. What are y'all expecting them to
But
do?
that's not the topic of this discussion.
And that movie is not going to tell me what am I expecting them to do.
So
What y'all expect the white people to do? Y'all expect them to be like, hey,
Question,
hey,
are you-
Negroes, we brought you over
are
here
you-
slaves
are you
here.
done-
We're gonna
are
give you
you done
half
making
now.
your point?
No,
Are
for
you
real.
done making
If
your
you
point?
if you conquer somebody, what would you do? If you beat somebody, what you do, bro? Honestly, if you beat somebody and you don't slave, what would you do?
We'll never know.
I'm just saying.
That's not how. That's not. Unfortunately, that history doesn't follow that, and that's not how we move.
But the world works like that, bro. You
Okay.
only get shit when you conquer people.
So what do black people? What do black people around the world own by conquering people?
thank you. I didn't have to ask it. Go ahead.
Say what now?
What do black people own as a whole? I'm talking about any country in the world. What do we own by conquering people? We're
We don't
struggling
conquer
with the continent of Africa.
Right? Because we don't conquer people. Because we're
Right.
too passionate.
Which is what I just said. That's not how we move.
But that's us, and like I said,
It's not
that's
a
the only way.
discussion about what
And
white
the
people
whole point is,
conquer.
that's
It's
my
about the
point.
Chauvin
The
case.
only way that there's going to be changes if we move that way.
So let me just kind of interject for
Is
like
that
a second.
no? Is that not true?
Hold on.
The only way that there's
hold
going to
on.
be changes
This-
is if we do move that way.
This actually ties into the last conversation we had, right? The last podcast where we talked about the Asian community and so forth, right? We talked about the fact that Africa doesn't back Black people in America because technically, like, we kind of were like brought over here and then, adopted all these different like customs and morals, whatever, what have you. So we're not backed by the very country that we come from. Right? So hold
Some of us
on.
didn't come from Africa.
I'm answering your question.
But some of us didn't come from Africa.
Say what?
Some of us did not come from Africa.
Chris, you're gonna have to start letting her people make their points before you interject.
Go ahead.
No,
It's
but
just not-
she said the land they came
Let's
from.
not be rude about it, man. Just not be rude about it.
I don't think it's
You
rude.
just
I don't
wait a
think
minute,
it's
bro.
rude.
You
He
just
got
cut
a whole
her
lot on
off.
his mind.
Wait a minute.
Go
You
ahead.
just cut her off a minute ago, and it was okay. Now I'm being rude about it.
I don't
What
think
did I
you're
cut
being
her
rude.
off?
All I
don't
said
think you're
was,
being
all I
rude.
did was
I
clarify
don't
something
think
she
you're being
said.
rude.
Are
I
you
don't think
serious,
you're being
Twan?
rude.
Please stop sucking on her titty on this podcast, bro.
Listen, what I'm
No,
saying
for
is
real.
this.
Stop sucking on her titty on this podcast.
What I'm saying is this.
Stop
What I'm
sucking on
saying
her
is this.
titty on this podcast, bro.
Really?
Real talk. Because everything she says is like she can't do no wrong. Stop it, Twan.
Yo.
Well, my question is, what exactly do you want white people to do? Because they own the shit, and like if they conquered this land. Everywhere they go, they conquer. They've conquered everywhere they've gone. They've conquered. They conquered in Spain. They conquered in Europe. They came over here. They enslaved Africans and brought them over here. And some people say that there were people that were already indigenous to this land, whether they were Africans or Indians, and they conquered them and they took over the land and cultivated it. And they figured this is our shit. So what exactly are we expecting them to do? Just give it to us? No, they ain't supposed to just give it to us. So as us, from my perspective, the only way things are going to change is if it's got to be a war. I'm not saying we need to go to war. I don't want it to go there.
A lot of people know that's what, I'm not saying all of white America, that's what a lot of white Americans, they have all these little groups, the Oath Keepers and all of that. That's probably what they really want. But if it was to be a war going against white Americans, then all minorities would have to be on the same team.
That's
not gonna happen.
It ain't a smart move.
So if we try to go to war with them, we be playing ourselves.
Oh, it ain't a smart move. I'm definitely saying it ain't a smart move, bro. It's definitely not a smart move. But I'm saying the only way shit really changes is if, like, you got little countries like South Korea, punking motherfucking countries like us, like North Korea, like what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got a voice, but we don't even use it. Like, real talk, we don't even use it. Like, we got athletes that have a voice that could really incite change. Like, them niggas to take off one game. And I'm not telling nobody what to do because they got to feed their family. I get that. But we collectively, we not gonna stay together. How we gonna change shit? This shit gonna keep going on. There's gonna be another George Floyd. I hate to say, and God rest this brother's soul. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad they locked the officer up, but there's gonna be another case tomorrow. There was another one that day. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday during the verdict. You know what I'm saying? So at what point, what do we do? Like like?
Well, I mean, some people gonna look at this verdict as a stepping stone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of black people are gonna build from here, man. You know what I'm saying? Things like this brings groups of people together. Shit. I mean, so maybe the situation is not going to war. Maybe the solution is getting people from that side. And when I say that side, I mean white Americans, training them on what the truth is and what the truth is not. What your racist grandparents and ancestors taught you and what's the truth. Because one of the positives that I'm taking from what's been going on lately is, of course, I'm seeing a lot more people of color and white people joining our causes. And that's a plus. So the thing is, if you're gonna go to war, and then we get to the point where people get fed up with this shit, and white America looks up one day and sees that half of white America is like, I'm over here with them because I'm tired of this dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way we're gonna get this shit to change as minorities. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't built in the numbers to go at them like that. The only way we can defeat that is getting them to come over to us. And we're seeing that starting to happen. Now white people are thinking, they're going, damn, bro, if he had his foot on my white kid's neck that long or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I feel a little different too.
But it got to start on paper.
People are having these conversations and being more real with each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's a start. That's a stepping stone. It ain't solving nothing, but we can go from there.
So I'm not sure if you guys follow Chris Cuomo or not. He's a personal.
I follow him.
Who? What's his name?
I'm like a Chris Cuomo.
Chris Cuomo on MSNBC. The brother.
I'm like a personal
mayor.
fan favorite.
Yeah.
The mayor, New York.
New York, yeah.
So, you know, Chris Cuomo came out earlier in the week and he said, yeah, he's like, listen.
So white America, go ahead.
This shit ain't gonna get real until white people kids start getting killed. That's what he said out the hole of his face. I get it.
Yes, he did.
I'm glad you said it. I ain't trying to say it. I ain't want to say it.
But that's what he said.
That's what he said. Yeah.
That's what he said. That ain't what I said. What I said and what he said was different. I'm just making a quote.
But it's the truth.
What? The reality of the situation is this. If you want to do the numbers and just the past, we don't even have to we don't even have to glorify the George Floyd situation or the Ma'Khia Bryant or the Breonna Taylor or the Tamir Rice. Like, we don't even have to. We're talking about a white kid that walked into an African-American church and shot and killed 8 people.
Was it 8 or 9?
9.
8 or 9.
9.
He was walked out of there in handcuffs and given Burger King. For real? For real? Like, that's what we're gonna do right now. Let me get an Impossible Whopper while we had it. I mean, while we wait to figure out what's gonna happen.
What was that? What was the last mass shooting? What was that? What was it? It was in the grocery store. What was that one? What was that one?
No, the last mass shooting was
I'm sorry, there's so many. I'll be forgetting. The one he shot like 16 people. It was at a grocery store. It was like maybe last week or 2 weeks ago.
But that wasn't. It was what, the Asian?
No. The Asian
I
one.
missed one.
You talking about the grocery store when the dude went and shot up the grocery store and came out. He was Asian though, wasn't he? He claimed to be a Muslim. He said he was a Muslim.
No, he wasn't Asian, but they shot him in the leg. You talking about this dude they shot in the leg? Like, they didn't shoot him in the chest. They didn't blow his head off or nothing. Yep, I remember that.
They shot like what, 15 people? But he had the blood.
I remember that. And they shot him in the leg.
Yep. Put him on the gurney with the bloody leg.
Yep.
Yeah, them rules don't apply to us. That's why, hey, look, that's why I say it sounds bad when I say this, but sometimes I don't give a fuck how they feel. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just like, I hate to be eye for an eye, but when you don't give a shit about my people, still
But-
should.
but-
Another thing too was the white kid out in Oregon that shot those people on the streets.
Illest part, they all still alive. That's
And he ran, and he had an AR-17 in his hands, and they gave him water.
Then let him.
And he didn't even get arrested.
So I can go a step further, right? Tell me from the beginning if you've ever held the Glock 17.
I haven't.
Chris probably has.
Glock 17.
Mhm.
Yeah, it don't feel like no taser.
It don't
though.
feel like no taser. Oh no!
Glock 19,
On no!
Glock
On no
22.
day of the week.
No, I mean no Glock. No Glock does.
On no day of the week.
They're all heavy.
And I don't know a whole lot about guns, but what I do know is you gotta
They ain't
cock
really-
it back
but you know
a
what,
little
Twan?
bit to let
Glocks-
that bitch off.
Glock's not really that heavy because they plastic, but they heavy. They heavier than the fucking,
Yeah.
especially with a loaded one. You know they should load it.
Got it.
Right,
If you've
Chris.
been carrying
shit
one
loaded.
for 26 years,
And one is on one side, the other on the other side.
Right, you can't. It's yeah, you can't mistake it. But one thing I want to tell y'all, like, so it's like going back to what I was saying, like if they own this shit, this their system. Of course, they designed the system to accommodate them. Like we're not supposed to be a part of their system. So that's why I say if we can't reform their system because it's reforming it. The foundation's still there. That reform is just the prefix reform. We just reforming it. It's the formation. The formation is already there. We have to rebuild that shit from the bottom. Because think about it. Why is it? Why do we have to specify whether we're black, white, Latino on the application? Why we just can't be American? Like we're all American. If we're in Spain, like they're not putting all that. You know, in Spain they putting male or female.
oh, that's a
all that extra
choice.
shit,
I've
that's
not
it.
put my race
And they
on
really-
an
I'm just saying,
application.
why is that even on? You know what I'm saying? Why they even do that here in this country? This
Oh,
is the
I
only
don't
country
know,
they
but
do
I've
that.
not put my race on an application in about
This is the only
15
country they do
years.
that. Like my mom's military, like we go to this is the only country they do that dumb shit. Like real talk. You gotta rebuild it
do
from
you
the
feel
beginning, but
comfortable?
like you say,
Let me ask you this question though, Chris. But as
Who?
a black man, do you feel comfortable calling yourself an American too? Because I don't consider. Look, I live in this country. I don't take pride in being called a fucking American.
I would
don't.
really want to be called an African. I want to be called an African.
If we're going by where we from and all, hey, look, I'm an African.
Origin. Yeah, we are African. We all African and white people too.
Because
White people too.
that's another subject, but it all started there in the continent of Africa. So
That's the truth. That's fact.
Which is why I don't understand why all the
My
DNA
knowledge.
don't come up with at least 1% African American on their shit. But that's something else for another day. I don't care, man. My patience is done. You know what I'm saying? I sit around sometimes like Precious just said, Como said, the only way this shit is gonna stop until you start killing their kids. But they know better. But they know better not to kill one of their kids. They know better. Because it ain't just about getting fired. They know that their own people will ruin their fucking lives if you kill one of their kids, bro. You ain't getting another job. You don't get to go to the next city and be a cop. You're done.
Look at that black cop that what the dude from Sudan that shot that white chick. He was out of here real quick. They made sure he was done.
No hesitation.
And his was like the most like out of self-defense. Like she just ran up on the side of his car and he banged her. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like these other joints where they pull up, they see you, no weapon, no nothing. They know exactly what's going on, bang you out on camera, and then get off. This was like she ran up on him, he in the car, she in the window, she freaking out, whatever, and they say he turned and banged her. But they didn't take no time with that one. He was going right away.
Who's that, Sekou?
Huh?
Where was that?
Where was that shit? It might have been out that way too. I don't. That was a couple years ago. Dude was from. I know the cop was from Sudan.
Okay.
What gets me angry sometimes with cops is like, when everybody says they need to be reformed and they got to get better training or whatever. So are white cops and black cops getting different training? Because black cops seem to know the rules. They practice patience. They know when to shoot, when not to shoot.
Some.
So it works. It's just people that are choosing not to follow the damn rules.
All I'm saying is de-escalate the situation, or at least make an attempt to de-escalate the situation before you have to use excessive force. Because sometimes, and the thing about it is, like, mental health right now is so fragile, right? Like, we're all coming off, or we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're still in the middle, so to speak, of a pandemic, and people's mental health isn't like, I can't imagine someone thinking like, oh, okay, well, and I don't know, and this is kind of a sidebar to my conversation, but I think Sekou, you posted it, the young lady, the African lady that was sitting in the middle of the street protesting for the George Floyd situation or whatever, what have you. Social worker comes up and she's like, listen, I'm a social worker. Like, let me just ask this, if she's having a mental health issue or mental health crisis. That's important. Don't discount mental health. That issue is real. Like, people have real ass mental health issues. Like,
about to give her the business.
Like, for real. Like, and they would have definitely given her the business had it not been for that chick.
Yep.
They would have at least at very minimum, they would have arrested her. They would have hog-tied her and they would have put her in the back of the cop car at minimum. So you can't just discount like somebody's mental health issues or whatever. Like, you need to, when a cop walks into a situation, they are trained to de-escalate.
No, they're not.
I don't think
they are.
No, they're not. A lot of these cops, depending on what department. No, depending on what department you are. Every department, like some of these little towns, they're not. I mean, just because we, you know what I mean? We would think they are, Precious. I didn't mean to cut you off, Princess, but we want them to be, but some of them are not. Because you get, some of these major cities are more trained than some of these little smaller cities. And a lot of this is, for me personally, with the police departments, is what do you expect them to do? Because, you know, I would think a police should have to go to school 4, 5, 6 years to be a police, because you're dealing with people's lives, just like a lawyer, just like a doctor. You're dealing with people's lives. Like, really, you can take someone's life. But the problem is, there's a shortage on police. They need so many police in every city, major cities, small cities, because there's a lot of crime going on everywhere. So they don't have time to put these people through these things. So we got people actually going through training 8 weeks, and there's no way they're giving them conflict resolution training. And there's a lot of these people that have never dealt with black people until they became police. Like, if you've never interacted with a black person, and all you seen was a black person on the news, then the first thing you're gonna think is be aggressive. And then now you got the gun and the training, whatever training they gave you, and the training they give you is gonna be aggressive to whoever. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but go back to what you're saying, Precious. I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying. So that I'm just saying, like, with these police, I just think that the training that we just need, it's kind of hard. Like Twan, think about it. We kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because we know we need more police, cool, but who wants to be a fucking cop? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then who if you want to be a cop, you ain't gonna want to go 5 years. If they stretch it out to say, hey, you need to go 4 years at least, you need to have a degree. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these places you got to have a degree now to be a police, but some places you just got to go to training, bro. And that might be 8 weeks. In 8 weeks now, you legally could kill a nigga.
You might want to, bro. If you would rephrase the question, you might. It's 2 questions. How many black people want to be cops? And how many white guys want to be? Because white guys are lining up to be cops. White guys are lining up to be cops.
We were kids. That was one of the professions people wanted to be.
Yeah, they still teach them.
You remember that?
They still teach them that.
Not even teaching, Twan, from my perspective. When I was kids, like, the cops really did their jobs. Like, you know? talking about de-escalating. Like the cops really
Hey.
de-escalated. They came in the neighborhoods. They played with the people. You know what I'm saying? The cops when my mom went to Temple, so we lived in Philly. The cops would come out. We would open the fire hydrant. We'd be playing in the water. We ain't supposed to be doing it. The cops would come out there and be with the community. Now the cops fucking the community up.
Never seen that. I've never witnessed it.
What?
Ever.
When growing up
Our
earlier,
region,
man, I
bro.
had cops that would.
I've
Really?
never witnessed it. As a kid,
Wait,
I
I'm sorry.
never
What did you
wanted to
say
be
you never
cops.
witnessed?
I never wanted
Cops
to be
chill. Cops actually
I've never
interact. He
witnessed
said
like
he never
these
witnessed cops.
neighborhood. I've never experienced these neighborhood cops that are cool with the neighborhood. It depends on where you're from, yo. I've never experienced it, bro. I didn't grow up around cops that were willing to lend a helping hand and all that shit. It
Really?
never happened. As a kid, I never wanted to be the cops.
Not
I
even
didn't want
one
to play
toy.
one. None of that. Nah, it didn't.
What about you, Cool?
I mean, so. I mean, I don't. To sit there and say I had like officers that I knew that we saw regularly that would rock with us. I think I'd be lying to say that. We didn't have that. I mean,
Cool, but let me ask y'all this. Cool.
Even the
Twan,
ones
person.
even the black
Did
ones
y'all
that I
know back
knew,
in the day? Did y'all
even the
know a
black
good
ones-
cop back in the day though? Did y'all know a
Listen.
couple of good cops back in the day? You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying like this. Even the black cops that I knew was some bitches.
my mother was a CO, so I mean, like I knew some through that way. But as far as ones actually patrolling and stuff like that, like I don't.
Only reason
I'd
I
be a
guess I
lot to
can.
sit there and say I knew. I don't really. My
great uncle,
mailman was my dude. So I really,
my great uncle was the first. He was actually the first black police officer in Monroe, North Carolina. Like he was patrolling when they couldn't even have a gun. And so like I had a different perspective, like from, like from police officers. And then like even like I said, when my mom went to Philly, when my mom went to school in Philly and we lived in East Oak Lane, like honestly, like I remember cops like really being chill. Like, I guess I was a kid. They wasn't fucking with, ain't no need to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? They might have fucked with other motherfuckers, but they've come out there, they wouldn't fuck with nobody, turn the hydrant on, they spraying the hose and shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never had no problem like growing up until I started, you know what I'm saying? I think maybe college was when things really got a little different. Honestly, for me, visually.
Y'all ever seen that visual? Y'all ever seen that visual of that kid that they show where when the cops pass his house, he hides behind the van until the cop car goes by and then he pops back out to play basketball again? That's how it was for me as a kid.
Wow.
Cops were not
Really.
I never seen that. That's dope though.
And the crazy thing is, like, they're not from. I mean, like a lot of places. I mean, still to this day, but they're not from our area.
Bro, it's heartbreaking to see that.
If you're from a small town, then there's pretty good chance that like your people are from officers like from the town and all that. For us, they're not from the town. Like for me in Queens or whatever, they were either from the other side of Queens or they're from Long Island. Majority of them from Long Island. They don't give a fuck about us. So they're the ones that was patrolling our areas. They didn't care about us. So it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, I can sit there and say that there was no officer that was cool that might have hung out and, shot some kids every night. But I never had that experience. Like if I did, I mean, catch me with dementia or something right now because I don't remember it.
So let me use that. Let me use what Cool just said to segue into the next topic. Because I think one of the things is they may have to actually start talking about evaluating cops and letting cops patrol the neighborhoods that they live in, opposed to sending 5 racist white guys to an all black neighborhood and like that. So speaking of cops being in the wrong neighborhood, during that verdict of the Chauvin case, a group of white cops again rode up on 2 young ladies, 3 young ladies. I don't know if the young lady was getting jumped or it was a one-on fight or something that carried on for something else. But we lost a 15-year-old teen. I think she was 15, named Bryant in Columbus, Ohio. that just hits your stomach differently when a 15-year-old black girl is getting killed during the verdict that we're so-called celebrating. You know what I'm saying? So even if you thought that Chauvin situation was a victory, it got taken away from you almost immediately. And so let's break that down with what we've seen and what y'all have heard, what y'all have seen.
Twan, can we get some footage?
I was
You
about
got
to
some
ask you,
footage?
got the video for that? Because I
Can we
honestly,
get some footage?
I
All right,
promise
well,
you, I ain't really seen none of that
I
shit, bro.
promise you. So let's get to the footage.
I ain't seen none of that shit.
All right, but as you're watching this footage,
Wait, bro, you got the foot? Excuse me one second. You got the footage of him shooting her?
yeah, I'm about to pull
Body
it up.
cam.
Yeah, so the body cam
wow,
video
bro.
has been released already.
Whoa.
So in case you haven't seen this
I
footage
saw that
again,
this morning at 4. Yo, they showed
right.
Oh my God. 2
So again,
seconds.
when we show y'all this footage, again, we're letting y'all know for people that are sensitive to situations like this to pause your video or turn away because this is very disturbing. But supposedly what happened are some girls got into a fight, and one of the victim that got shot was the one who supposedly called the cops. They come over the house, and there was a girl over there trying to beat him up, whatever. When the cops arrived, she was going after some girls that appeared to look like they were jumping her with a knife. Also, we'll talk about it after you see it, though. You know what I'm saying? But the young lady went after another girl with the knife, and then we'll pick up from there with the situation. We'll go ahead and show you that now, and we'll discuss it after it's done.
And arrived at 4:44. We will play the first video in real time.
And rewind that a little bit, man. I want to see that thing.
You see how his partner looked? You saw how his partner looked at him?
Yep. One more time. One more time.
His partner looked at him like, you motherfucker, yo.
Approximately 4:32 this afternoon. Officers
Damn, bro.
This was at 4:32 yesterday.
Excuse me.
This is my first time seeing this, you know.
171 Legion Lane.
Right before the verdict.
Information was that a caller said females were there trying to stab them and put their hands on them. Dispatchers tried to obtain information about weapons, but were unable to gather that information. Officers were dispatched.
Why they said a girl? Somebody said she was fighting a white girl. That was a black girl in that pink.
They were all black. My question is, why was that your first response? You walked up to a situation, and granted, it's confusing as hell because I'm still in question. And I've seen a different video where there's another young lady holding a knife to the young lady that has on all pink, right?
Mhm.
So
That was
again,
That was the girl that escaped, that got away. That was one that was about to be stabbed.
okay. So my deal is, I know that, again, like you said, they go to ranges all the time and you guys practice shooting all the time. You're telling me that you had to hit her in the chest 4 times? She's 15 years old.
He didn't know that though. She was a big girl. He didn't, and see, and And I hate to play the
Massage
devil's
has
advocate.
absolutely nothing to do with it.
I promise you, I hate to play the devil's advocate. And Twan, you're gonna be mad. We probably gonna fuss again after this motherfucking podcast, which is
Let's do
cool.
it.
But so I hate to play devil's
Y'all,
advocate.
it's all right.
I'm blocked on the book.
Well, hold on.
One of my colleagues.
Before you
was
get
talking
started,
about
Chris. Yeah, before you get started, Chris, let me break that video down because like that was your first time saying it, right?
Right.
Okay, so we want to let the viewers know there's a lot of shit going on in this video that everyone isn't seeing. Some people are talking about one part. So the cop, first of all, the cop just pulled up, or either he just pulled up or he was freshly getting out of his car. If you look off to the right of the video, you see this, there's a guy who claims to be the victim's dad, pushing one of the other teen girls down on the ground. And then he proceeds to kick her. So if we're going to tell the truth about this video, we're going to talk about all of this shit. A grown-ass man was kicking a teen girl on the ground. Then when his daughter, when the daughter saw that she hit the ground, she went after the other girl, the girl in the all pink that Precious alluded to. I didn't hear the cop. I know even the video was loud as hell. The cop never yelled, stop, don't, freeze, nothing.
Can you run that little part back? What, like, just want to see that dude.
I
I didn't see.
And the thing about it,
I didn't see the dude. I mean,
it's
I saw
so
the
much,
girl.
it's packed full of like
Right.
stuff.
I know
It's
when he
stuff.
brought it up.
It's a
I
lot
saw
of-
the
it's a
girl
lot-
fall Twan, but I didn't see the dude do it. And I heard
I got you.
from social
They don't
media.
show it on this video.
They don't.
So they don't
This is
show
what-
it on
yeah.
this video, but there
This
is
is just one
another
angle.
video.
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry about it.
This is just one angle. But look,
There is another video where
yeah,
they
But I
show
heard
her
that on social media,
kicking her.
people were saying the dude kicked the girl in the head.
He did kick her.
A
in
grown
the
ass
head.
man, and
Yeah.
that is from my
Grown-ass man.
understanding, he ain't
that's
even
why
a
I
daddy.
said, look, let me unpack all this before we
Stepfather.
start talking about it.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Stepfather.
So when the girl goes to attack the other girl, and granted, she does have a knife. Now, and I'm not defending this cop, it's just open discussion. Now this cop has to ask himself, am I going to get there in time to stop it or prevent her from killing someone else, or do I shoot her? The problem I have with the fucking cop, just like we have with all cops, is why are y'all shooting to kill? She's 15.
Bruh.
I don't want to give a damn if she was 30 or 35.
Okay.
That could have been, look, why do they go?
Stab
Why,
the girl? What if she
I
stabbed the girl?
got to,
and
let
killed
me
the girl?
finish and then we're going to unfold
Yeah,
it.
you're right. My bad. You right.
So
My
the
thing is
only
this.
thing.
Hold tight. So, say cool just told you, if you're looking at the video closely, when he shoots, listen, it's two cops already closer to them than the cop that shot. He didn't even give them a chance to try to alleviate the situation. They were already up close. He banged on the girl, like Sekou said. One cop immediately looks back at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And then you hear him say it's faint, but for everybody seen the video, he says she was gonna stab the other girl. And I'm sure they're like, we saw that, we're right here. You know what I'm saying? Or we're gonna stop it, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Why didn't he shoot her in the legs? Why do they go to the gun range to prevent that? What, that girl wasn't coming at him, because I originally heard that they said the cops said the girl was coming at him with a knife. That's why you watch video and shit, because that wasn't true. But he's just as guilty, because if you go to the gun range every other week, you know, it's kids, man. Like, why would you not try to just shoot towards her leg? I wish he hadn't shot her at all, but he shot to kill, and he pulled the trigger, what, 4 or 5 times? One bullet would have stopped her.
So now, right, the immediate threat of life has to be neutralized. We understand that, right? So that's about the only defense I can hand him right now. That's it. Stops right there for me. Because one, why didn't you use a taser? Because all you're doing is neutralizing the situation. Why did you even pull your gun? You walked up on a situation that you had no, like, you got a call that says somebody was potentially about to be stabbed. Not that somebody was already stabbed and bleeding, not that there was a wounded victim, nothing. Somebody is trying to stab me. They out here with a knife. You roll up, you answer the call. Why didn't you, like, if that was going to be your immediate response to neutralize the situation, why didn't you use your taser as opposed to pulling out your gun?
I don't want to cut you off, Precious, but one of the things I will say while you're saying that right now is that if I'm that cop, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to tase her quick enough to keep her from stabbing that girl. Unless he lets her stab her and then tases her. That taser, to me, was not an option. It wasn't going to get there quick enough.
Okay, so then at that point, why shoot her in the chest? Why you didn't just shoot her in the Achilles? Because for real, it's been known to take people out of games. Why you ain't just shoot her in the shin? If I bump mine on the coffee table, I'm out for the day.
How much closer were the other officers too? I mean,
as you see when she goes down, and Christopher, I'll even if I have to show it again, you'll see cops come from the side as soon as she hits the ground.
Yeah. Those were cops or those are EMS?
No, those are cops.
Cops. They're all wearing white shirts.
You can tell he was his partner because, like, he looked at him like, "Oh shit! Like, what do you like that first one?"
Okay, they immediately started performing CPR.
Yeah.
Chris, go.
You
want to see the video again before you start, or?
Go ahead, man. I thought we was. I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I would say run it again.
All right, here we go. Now that we said just that little bit, now look at everything that's going on.
Soon, guy's investigation. 4:32 this afternoon that a caller said females were there.
They do it in slow motion the second time too.
Yeah. All right, I pause it right there. See the guy on the sidewalk?
Right.
He pushed that girl that's in front of the cop down. Now he's getting ready to kick her. So if this cop doesn't know what's going on, like, he could have possibly shot him too, because, you know, I thought that was weak on his part. I don't care whose daddy's is. You kicking teenage girls on the ground.
But here's the thing. So that's a trend.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
There's the kick right there. Now look, after he shoots the girl.
So that's a trend.
Right. After he shoots the girl, watch the cops come in from the left.
Well, hold on. So
but he kicked
okay, I see. Okay.
You see him? You see the cop already there? He's
I thought it was that's an EMS. That's not a cop.
Sure.
No, that's cops. Why would EMS be there already? And
look at the thing across his chest. Look at the thing across his chest like that, across his back.
Chris, look, they're all wearing the coat. He's bent over now. They're all wearing the same thing. They're cops.
Okay, they may be, but
I ask yourself the question, because why would EMS be there already if nothing happened yet?
Because when they called out that when it was a 911 call, they called an ambulance first. Because the girl they called the girl had mental problems. That's from what I heard. It could be cops.
They said the girl called. They said the girl that got shot is the one that called. Allegedly.
I know.
Because she
wasn't the only one that called 911. It was a couple of people that called 911 from my understanding.
What I'm saying is all the news stations have identified them as all cops.
You're right, bro. You're right. I'm just saying, with white shirts around here, them motherfuckers is EMS around here. That's what I'm
Columbus.
Saying. And I'm gonna be real with you. I'm just not realizing that it was a black cop there. That's the one that's looking back.
So I have questions, right? I have other questions.
Yeah, he had a gun.
When you turn the video on, like when you start like playing the video from jump, there are other spectators, right? Why did it get to this point?
Instead of trying to break it up, that's some
those cops.
Why did it get to this point? Because let's just be clear. When I was growing up and I was getting into it with somebody across the street. Let's just be clear. The 3 neighbors that were like standing next to me, they weren't necessarily trying to jump in my defense, but they weren't going to necessarily like watch a fight happen either. So what was happening? This is a grown man, and it appeared to be a grown woman standing next to him prior to him kicking this young lady. So like what was the mental like
lady? Precious, it's called BCP. Before what you knew is called BCP before cell phones.
Oh, okay.
Now everybody want to get likes and shit. So instead of them trying to break the shit up, you see several people videoing the damn fight. That's some black shit, and we got to stop doing that shit, man. Everybody want to get the likes. So instead of breaking up and preventing a murder or some girl getting killed, they rather film it.
Bruh, I blame that dude, bruh. I blame the daddy. First of all, I mean, what happened was I guarantee that girl probably came over there, probably a fight, and you know some of them daddies like, yeah, run that shit. First of all, you're not having none of that shit in my yard anyway. Get that shit from around here anyway. You know what I'm saying? Don't be bring that bullshit around here. No, you ain't none of that. See, that girl probably came around there and they wanted to run it, and that girl probably couldn't handle the run, and she brought some people with him, and that's the ghetto-ness to some of these parents, bruh. And like you said, that wasn't his daddy. That wasn't her daddy. That was what, the foster daddy? A real daddy ain't got. First of all, say cool. You got daughter. You letting her go down in your yard?
No, sir.
Fuck no. Exactly not. Not you got your daughter. That's your own daughter. Hell no, man.
Some of the responsibility is on him, and it's just a tough conversation because the black.
You on camera kicking somebody,
it's gonna
Twan.
be tough. That's
You on camera kicking a girl in the head.
I pointed it out. That was some fuck shit. I'd have been out there whooping his ass, bro.
He can cry all he want because after the girl got shot, he bunch of crying. You cry all you want. You caused this shit.
That's when he yelled, and I don't know if y'all heard it. He yelled to the cops, "Y'all shot my baby?
Yeah.
Y'all shot my baby? You kicking another girl?
What about that baby you just kicked?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm only gonna say this because I've seen this exact situation, literally, time after time. It's no longer kids, high school, teenage kids getting in fights anymore, because you got to understand now the dynamics have changed because mothers are younger, right? And grandmothers are younger. Mm-hmm. So when you got beef, I got beef. And if I'm beefing with somebody at school or in the streets, guess what? I can call my whole squad because everybody down to fight. I have seen on countless occasions DC police roll up to the high school that I taught at to dismember a situation, like, or disengage, like whatever is going on over here. Like, I mean, straight up, like mom out here, aunties, cousins, nieces, everybody is ready to fight a whole nother family that live across the street from the school. Like, it's a thing. So now the issue is, like, now we understand that kids are fighting each other. It's not just about the kids fighting each other. You're still dealing with trauma from parents who, like, they still live in their teenage life. They live in their life throughout their kids. So they still down for the cause. They still trying to come out here and fight. And that's what this is. That's classic this. This is why this just happened. A young lady is dead tonight because, listen, it's the system.
The damn parents failed.
It's systemic bullish. Period.
Listen, I'm agreeing with Chris on this, man. Those parents failed those girls, bro.
I agree.
I'm not taking the cop out of it, but it goes back to what I said. What world are we living in now where y'all not trying to break the fight up? Y'all encouraging the fight just to film it. So, you remember when we grew up, and we got in fights or whatever, you know how it was.
Twan, you're not having that shit at your front door, Twan. You're not gonna have that at your front. That was at your front door. That ain't gonna be at your house, bro. That's that dude fault. That's the daddy fault. Ain't no grown man gonna have that type of shit in their front yard, bro. That was at their house.
It's on him and the cop. It's on
him.
It's not just on him. It's on both
He
of
should
those
have
kids.
de-escalated. First of all, get your daughter in the house. Ain't no they come in there to fight your daughter get in the house. That's dead.
The mother was there too.
Then what? It's
The
on you, bro.
Well, the female was there too. Whoever his girl was or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know
Take
about
that
this.
girl in the house.
I don't know about this foster care situation, and I'm pretty sure that plays into something else. She was at a foster parent's house, so I don't know if her dad was visiting or how all that goes. I ain't heard the breakdown on that yet, but I think
the
that
girl
plays into
inside the
what you're
house.
saying, Chris. Well, see, guess what, Chris?
You know what I'm saying?
He can't take her in the house if that's a foster parent's house and that's not his crib, and he might not be allowed in there.
Well, some adult
But
out there.
But you can take your daughter and walk her down the street and take her away from the situation. So
Yeah,
I'm agreeing with you. I agree with you.
There's a lot we don't know. That's
Right.
a lot. No, that's a lot we don't know. That's a lot we don't know. Because I'm thinking it's the man house
We're only going on what
or the lady house.
Yeah, that was
You could go in there.
That was my
feeling
too.
Cool.
I'm like, we don't know much about it. Like, I mean, we all said a different story of what we heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, we saw, but as far as everything else with it, we hearing this and we hearing that. There's really not much to go on.
Hey, look, man.
But ultimately,
I'm not taking away. Oh, 1 second, bro. I'm not taking away from what Koo said. Koo's absolutely right. And I don't give nothing they're gonna break down to me that's gonna explain why this man is putting his feet on a teenage girl.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of wrongs in it. The video had a lot of
The
wrongs.
video showed a lot. We don't know everything, but it showed a lot.
Too much.
So essentially, right? What we are trying to figure out is like why he shot her 4 times in the chest.
Well, but
one was enough.
Why you? But
you could have shot her in the shoulder.
Hey, Chris, I want to hear you break down.
Trained.
You could have shot her.
They're not trained to do that. They're not trained to do that, though.
Why not just one bullet? Why not one?
Well, I get that part, but I think the police get a range between 1 to 8 or something crazy.
That's
they like yeah, because when he came in his mind, and from the video, in his mind, and I'm not defending him or nothing. The girl was about to stab another girl. So okay, say for instance, I shoot the girl, and if I shoot in the leg, and she gets the stab off, and she ends up killing her anyway. Then what? Then where the officer stays at? Oh, he should have stopped it. So I mean, he between a rock and a hard place, no matter what. Now, to be honest with you,
4 to the chest.
It is, but if he does,
you teach gun classes. You know, you in the range. You nice with the shit. 4 to the chest. Was that necessary?
I'm not. It wasn't necessary. Was it justifiable?
No.
Depends on how. It depends on how. If he's thinking somebody's about to kill somebody.
But the dude with the AKs and shit, they walk away with it.
All right, cool. Okay, but I know I get that. No, and we're gonna get to a point at some point where we're gonna critique every black murder. But trust me, the way the world's going, we're gonna critique every black murder, and I get that. But let me ask you guys something. Picture yourself. Close your eyes. You got a daughter, and she's getting in the fight, and someone's about to stab her. And
if that's your
girl,
daughter,
right before he stabbed her, the police shoot her, or the police looks at her and says, "Hey, I think I can just handle it," and she does stab your daughter, and your daughter dies. What would you want the police to do? Well, at what point? Like, see, because he depends on where you are in the situation. Because I got kids, depends on where you are, depends on how you're gonna look at it, and so I kind of look at it all ways. I'm sorry the girl was dead, but she waited till the police get there, and then she started dealing the knife. Like all those police, like if we look at the video again, that means, like you were saying, Twan, if those are police that y'all verify, that means all of those probably got there at the same time. So you're gonna wait till the police get there, and then it's gonna be more rumbling. I mean, okay, go ahead, Precious, because I mean, I still need to gather my thoughts on how he's supposed to be thinking.
I told you this is gonna be different, bro.
Right, definitely.
So one, like you said, right? I'll piggyback off what you said. Why y'all even outside? Why are you even outside entertaining this bullshit? Go back inside the house.
That's what
You
Koo
gotta
said.
hold. You gotta. So what you should have called 911 for is to say we have a trespasser on our property because
But
my daughter is inside the house.
Precious.
He came
But
to
like
fight.
Sekou said, we don't know all the information yet. That's the part we don't know. So we can't.
And that's
speculate on that.
fine. But I'm assuming just from the way the car is parked in the driveway, and I shouldn't assume. I shouldn't, because that makes an ass out of me. But I'm assuming from the way that the car is parked in the driveway, this young lady rolled up on some like, what's up?
Think about it. Let's just deal with what we know.
I
The
think they're
police
all
rolls
the-
up.
I think they're all in the
Sees
same
the commotion.
neighborhood.
No, think about now. Think about the police. We saw the police. We saw his body cam. Think of yourself being in the car. He rolls up. He sees the commotion. Boom. The dude done, a grown man done kicked somebody. He done seen that. Then he looks over here. Another girl, while I'm pulling up, seeing I'm pulling up on the scene, a girl is got a knife, about to stab somebody. Like this shit, they what like honestly, what are you trained to do at that point? Take down the threat?
Okay. So if you put the humanity in it, though, Chris, if you put the humanity in it, and let's say you're a cop, you're the cop that arrived, Chris. It's all white people in their front yard. We got to flip this shit. It's all black cops and one white cop there, and it's all white girls fighting in their front yard. So when you get out the car, because we talked about earlier how black cops seem to be able to to know, do I do this, and what is this going to do to me or my career and my life before I shoot? So I'm asking you, Chris, do you pull the trigger? Or do you say, I go to the gun range all the time, I could just shoot her in the leg and stop her?
No, me personally.
Or are you going to go with your training and say, they told me to shoot to kill, but I guarantee you cops is not telling black cops to shoot to kill.
I get that.
I'm asking you, I'm putting you on the spot. What
For
would
me,
you do as a cop?
What would I do? Kind of hard because I
Spur
first
of the
of all,
moment. No, it's spur of the moment. You in
I
this
know, I
moment,
get it. I get
it's
it.
going
I get it.
fast, it's
Let
going
me
fast.
answer you.
What are you going to do?
First of all, let me answer you, and I'm gonna answer you wholeheartedly. I wouldn't be a cop because it's a tough job, and I'm gonna answer you. And for reasons like this, for situations like this, is why I wouldn't personally be a cop. But because you asked me the question, and you know, there's never gonna be a right or wrong answer because this is all hypothetical.
There's no right or wrong answer.
For me, rolling up on the spot because of the person that I am, I'm used to dealing with people. But me, I'm gonna deal with the situation a little differently because I know how to interact with people, whether I'm black or white, because I'm gonna bring that into me being a cop. Because you're asking me if I'm rolling up, if I'm rolling up, and if I'm rolling up with none of that, and I'm rolling up with just the cop training that I got, I'm probably shooting that girl. But me, 47-year-old grown man being a cop, if I rolled up on that situation, if I became a cop tomorrow and I rolled up on a situation in a black neighborhood I'm gonna try to de-escalate that. The girl probably would get stabbed. Somebody probably, you know what I'm saying? Like she probably would have got stabbed. I wouldn't have shot the black girl. Me personally, I wouldn't have. Because I mean, I would have, I see black people, they see police, they're gonna be rumbling, whatever, but we gonna handle this shit. Because I understand that. But if I go to a white neighborhood, I don't know how I'm gonna handle it, Twan.
No, you're coming out of my example. I said you're a black cop and you're in an all white neighborhood, and these are all white people. I'm trying to show the correlation of Chris being a black cop
if I'm in a
white cop.
In an all white neighborhood, I'm probably shooting.
Are you gonna shoot that girl, or are you gonna think about it?
Probably shoot her.
So let me can I interject?
Hold on, did y'all hear me? I'm gonna probably shoot her.
Yeah, you said it.
Shoot her for Alex.
So let me interject for like 30 seconds. Chris, don't worry about it. I got you right here.
He said for 200.
So I got you right here. That's what I'm gonna do right now. Right, that's what I'm gonna do for you, Chris.
My bad.
Now. However, I just sent you guys the article. I just sent you guys an article. This happened literally right above where I so often go visit. Right, some of my best friends live in this city, this town. I just sent you this article. It happened this morning, and
we can't see your face.
I know.
Okay.
I know that.
Just pointed out.
I'm
It's
very
like
aware.
you're talking to a ghost or some lips or something.
But they cute though. They cute because I can't even find that color no more. I think I created that color.
This
So
ain't simping hour and nothing like
That's
that.
the this the dude I'm talking about.
right, yeah, you brought this up earlier. So this is literally right where I'm from. And I've been seeing people post about it all day, but I just sent this to you because this happened around about 8:30 this morning. And these police officers are refusing to show details of what happened. Whereas in Makaya's situation, they immediately, like literally it happened. And then like last night, the body cam was online. So you could see what happened.
Right.
See what I'm saying? But let me give you, just because I'm from the area, let me give you some background. Let me give you some context, right? This area specifically is right outside of OBX. And I know if you've been riding down the highway and you see OBX on tags, you think that it just says OBX. Well, it means Outer Banks, right? Outer Banks, Nags Head. So it's like the beach area, northeastern North Carolina, beautiful beach. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, great place to go vacation if you with it and you don't want to see nobody that look like you. But this is where this happened. Okay. And so we don't know the full story yet, but this is the article that just literally came across my phone. It is already on USA Today. In light of everything that's going on in the world, the George Floyd case, Ma'Khia Bryant, and then this young man makes the third case in less than 48 hours, less than 24 hours from the verdict of Derek Chauvin. Don't sleep on that. Okay. Let's just be clear. Don't sleep on that, because while we think like, oh, that was coincidental, no, the fuck it ain't. No, it's not. It's absolutely not.
I don't think anything's coincidental anymore.
But the court record showed that he was 42 and had a history of drug charges and misdemeanor drug possession.
So did George Floyd.
No, yeah, you know they're gonna go hard hand with that stuff, boy. Oh my god.
I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but I'm gonna say it one more time because I think this should become a question and something that the world keeps talking about. Why is it that Black cops know how to restrain themselves and in a split second are able to compute, should I do this and should I not? And white cops don't have that ability.
Twan, I don't. It depends on where you live, and I think some black cops. I think some black cops don't put themselves in positions to do that. Like I think some black cops take a lot of black cops.
I'm mainly talking about when you're talking about when you're a cop and you're talking about killing people of another race.
Right. Okay, but I'm saying most black cops aren't taking the beat in the hood the way the white cops are taking the beat in the hood. You get what I'm saying? There are more white cops running the beat in the hood than black cops. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
more black
why they in the hood,
really in the neighborhood. So when those black cops are in the neighborhood, they're not putting those in those predicaments. But I get what you're saying. But from my experience, all cops are taught to do the same shit. It don't matter, like it ain't matter black, white. See, we have come to we have militarized our police force. So we give them armored tanks. Like the police actually look like the military at times, like for real. So and it has become to you ever police actually think you have to respect them. You know what I'm saying? Like they go to training for 8 weeks and then think like you can't curse their ass out. Like bro, like who the fuck are you?
And
You know
that's why black people. That's why look. That's why we congregate with them like that, bro. My thing is, and that's the thing. Listen, I've been in the car with my wife before, bro, and it's just my wife's got this thing like, Twan, you can't talk to the cops. Man, I can talk to them however the fuck I want to, bro. Who the fuck are they, bro?
I mean, we should be able to, but be careful with that shit, bro. No, be careful, bro.
You were
Be
going
careful
on a
with
line.
that shit.
White cops think that badge comes with, like, you have to respect them like they're your father or
you
something.
sit here running a motherfucking podcast and you think you're gonna talk to a fucking white cop any kind of way when he pull you over and you fuck around and run across his podcast. All right, I'm just letting you know, be careful with that shit.
Look, if the motherfucker want to shoot you, he gonna shoot you.
Ain't about shooting you, he humiliates you. He humiliates you. It ain't just about shooting you.
Whether they've already shown whether you know your rights or not, whether you're good or bad, whether you comply or don't comply, they'll still pull a put in your ass. So you might as well get your words off.
I ain't saying be no pussy. No, I ain't saying be no pussy, but don't go out your way to fuck with them.
I'm not gonna seek. Look, I'm not gonna seek this shit. I'm not gonna seek this shit. But if he comes at me like the way he wants to come at me, I'm gonna give him some of that energy.
Stand your fucking ground like a grown man. Yeah, do that. But don't
I'm not going out like sitting there crying asking for you not to shoot me.
Yeah, don't get the lighter for the smoke.
So let me jump in here real quick, right? And then we touched on it a little bit during our last podcast, but we got to revisit it because we don't still have the outcome of what actually happened with the situation. We know what happened. We saw the situation when we watched it, but the military officer, the Lieutenant Nazario, who was pulled over in his brand new vehicle where his new tags were posted in the right rear passenger window of his car, and he was pulled over, and the police officers hopped out the car with guns drawn on him. They pepper sprayed him. They handcuffed him, everything, right? So this is a model citizen, right? He did everything right.
Everything he's supposed to do.
He did everything he was supposed to do. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel safe, you are well within your citizens' rights to put your blinkers on, drive slowly to the next lighted location. He did that. He did that, and he still received that treatment. So now we're talking about, again, these are all like isolated situations, right? But you're looking at it all over America, and it's like, well, damn, like, when am I going to be able to catch a break?
Exactly. I'm just so tired of black people got to play by a different set of fucking rules, man. I'm tired of hearing this. You got to work twice as hard. You got to study twice as much. You got to interact this way with the cops. You have to, man, fuck that, man. Is this country free or not?
No.
I mean, black people
and so ultimately what's happened,
shit, bro.
So ultimately what's happened is you pay for this country on your back, but you don't have no slice of it.
Right, I don't get
that's
that.
That's the part that you really got to digest. And that's the part they're expecting you to digest. And that's what's real. Let's just be clear.
That 13th Amendment, unless you in prison.
I'm telling, look, I'm saying this right now. I'm looking right dead into the damn camera, and I mean this. I want everything, on my family and everything I love. I'm not going out like no fucking sucker if a cop tries to abuse me in a situation or some shit like that or whatever, because in my head, you're trying to kill me anyway. So you're going to have to earn that shit. My last words ain't going to be please or officer don't. And I'm not telling anyone else they got to act this way. I'm not going out like that, bro. I'm not. I'm tired of hearing black people got to be different. If we keep falling for this bullshit, it'll never change, bro. And now they saying in Congress, they trying to get some laws set up to whatever. Stop hiring racist cops. Screen them better. Y'all said, look, it should take you 3 years to be a cop. They can start now. You can start now with a new age of cops.
You know what? I would be on board with that. I would. And
that's me. I'm not asking anybody else to be on board. That's me.
No. I would be on board with what you're saying if I weren't from where like people get along. Like literally, they just get along, right? So the street that I live on, where my parents live. They built a home. From I would say from end to end is about 1.5 miles long, right? It's a family owned street from end to end, right? At the beginning of the street, there sits a person who used to own slaves, who used to like literally at the beginning of the, like you can turn on the road and their big house is still sitting right there. At the end of the street is where the black people lived, whatever, who used to work on his farm. So I get it. I absolutely get everything that you're saying. But the reality of the situation is, how do you change the mental aspect and trauma of that? Like, because it's just trauma passed down. Just so that you know, it's not trauma that these kids are learning right now. This is trauma that's passed down from like generation to generation.
Generational trauma.
It is generational trauma. So now you're fixing generational trauma. This isn't like, oh, I woke up this morning and I just hate authorities. No, authorities have always shown us that, you know, we're less than and we need to abide by their rules and obey whatever they say. And so we're supposed to act accordingly. And when we don't, we get shot.
When do we get to grow up?
But it goes back to what are we being taught? Like, what are we, that's what it goes back to. What are we being taught? Like, what are we teaching our kids? Like, what are we teaching our kids about Black people? Like, what, like in the schools, like what, like even in history books, are we teaching our kids that really Black people are
No,
really,
you're not.
That's where we got to start. Because if white people really understood,
it's almost now it ain't
people really, they're, you know,
it's almost now it ain't even on white people to teach Black history.
No.
So again,
teach your kids.
Well,
this goes back to our last podcast.
It is on them to do that because we're part of white history. How the hell is it not on them to teach white history?
But do you seriously want white America teaching your kid Black history?
No, I don't. It's not about white.
They're not gonna tell the right story, even if they do. They still keep talking about pilgrims and shit.
Right, but they at least have some type of narrative. We don't have no narrative at this point
either.
We don't have no narrative at this point.
They're not talking about that either. Just so you know, I'm in education.
Think
They're
about
not talking about that either. I would take that.
They keep teaching kids that Thanksgiving was a celebration and shit.
In school.
At least I would have something to build off of. They don't teach that no more either.
In school, when they start talking about Black people in school, honestly, in school, when did you start learning about Black people?
Second grade.
I never had Black history in my 1 through 12.
No, that's not true.
Never. I said I didn't. My first Black history.
I understand what you just said, but
no. You had Black history in second grade.
My family taught me Black history, but my first class was in Black experience at North Carolina Central
Right.
University.
See, that's the thing.
From 1865 with Dr. Jim Harper. We got to get him on here.
Think about it, Twan.
We got to get Dr. Jim
Harper. You're a grown
on.
man and you just learned about your own history as a grown man. Think about how many other kids.
No, bro. I said the first class I ever took.
No. That's because your family taught you.
Right.
The school didn't do it. Think about all the kids that didn't have a family like yours. Think about the kids that didn't know about it. And think about the kids that didn't get the opportunity to go to North Carolina Central. Think about the kids that still don't know. Think about the other white kids that live in the trailer park that don't know that just think Black people are just bad because the school system gonna think, hey, they're not teaching them that else different.
I think it's our responsibility at this point. You can't wait on white America to do nothing for you.
It's the world's responsibility.
I agree. I agree.
The world. We didn't bring ourselves here, Twan.
I agree with that.
But it's no longer in the curriculum, is what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, I agree with
that. So it's easier for you to go into the curriculum and find an entire story about the Jewish and or Holocaust situation as you may try to scour through and find something that happened with African Americanism, like slavery, like how in the African American Museum in DC. It's absolutely wonderful, and it takes you more than a day to just walk through that and like
can't get it done in a day, bro.
You cannot, absolutely not. You can't even really do it in like 2-3. It takes time because it really is a really, really good like representation of starting from the bottom up. And
Can I
it
ask,
is
can I ask y'all a
literally
question?
Field trip.
Can I ask y'all a question? Did y'all learn about Anne Frank in school? Anne Frank?
absolutely
Did you learn about Anne Frank?
in high school and college.
Did you learn about Marcus Garvey in school?
My older sister told me.
No, in school.
I
In
read
school.
No.
In school.
And
not
Black
in,
That's
I
my
don't think
fucking
it's cool.
point. That's my point. What the fuck? What relevance does Anne Frank got to do with? If we living in America, what she got to do with America?
Well,
Please, no, real talk. What she got to do with America? We know we learn wholeheartedly about her. We learn about Hitler. We learn about good people, and we learn about the good shit and the bad shit of the fucking Holocaust.
you're right, bro. Listen,
We learn
look,
shit, nothing good about niggas that did good.
my older sister told me
Think
something
about
was
that,
incredible.
man.
My older sister told me something that was profound, bro. She's a retired lawyer now. She said, you cannot expect white people to teach Black history when they're too busy trying to hide it. And listen, I'm gonna go on facts saying, I'm gonna go on record saying this. When they did that movie about the women, the Black astronauts, what was the name of that movie where they helped out the astronauts and all that?
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures? I knew nothing about that story
Me neither.
until I saw that movie. And I'm like, this is some incredible shit.
Bro,
How come we ain't hear about
And
this?
I was super excited.
Not to interrupt
like,
y'all.
like
Not to
2
interrupt
months
y'all.
ago,
Y'all got to get
I
back to what I'm
rode by,
saying.
and it
Y'all
really is now Hidden Figures.
Please
Wow.
come back to what I'm saying, though. Please come back to what I'm saying. How do we know so much about the Holocaust, Anne Frank and Hitler? If that had name, how did that affect the United States?
Because
No,
white
how
America
did it
tried to
affect
take
us?
that. It didn't. But white America felt it was important to control that narrative.
Right. Why we know so much about people that don't give a that we need nothing to know about. We don't even need to know about them. They don't have no relevancy of us, and we don't know shit about our own people.
I don't know. I'm gonna be real with you.
And
I
they
don't know a
wanted
ton
to feed
about
that
Jewish
shit to
people.
us. We know about the Rome. We know about we know about Zeus and the Roman Catholic. We know about all that shit, and I know about Roman history and all that shit. I didn't learn that shit in school. I didn't learn shit about my people in school.
They still don't do it. Precious just told you.
Intentionally.
Chris, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in, well, my mom was military, but I grew up in North Carolina, and then I left like 5th grade, and we lived in Virginia.
Okay.
Then we went to Italy, and then I ended up moving back to VA. I went to high school in VA, and then I moved back to North Carolina. So
Okay.
everywhere.
So like you had a pretty broad range of like experiences as it relates to education. So I feel like during those times, like our curriculums and instructional curriculums were being controlled by people that did not look like us. That's why there were not a whole lot of
Precious. I went to a military school in Italy, and they was teaching the same bullshit.
right.
And that's crazy.
But what I'm saying to you specifically
Right.
is that those people didn't look like us.
Yep.
Right. So they had no bearings on them.
Exactly.
And it didn't matter whether you learned your history or not. It wasn't up to you.
I never even had a Black teacher teach history classes in K through 12. You know, I don't know if it was the reason, but Black people didn't feel the need to teach white history if they wasn't teaching us our history. All my history teachers was white.
Do high schools teach Black history?
Huh?
Do high schools teach Black history?
High school.
It depends on where you live.
Well, and that's the thing. Not so much. So
it is
now our curriculums are given to us, right? We don't get a chance to create. It's not as autonomous as you think.
The reason why I'm saying this, okay, Precious, I'm not sorry, I'm not cutting you off. The reason why I'm telling you is different, and say cool, feel me when I say this. Depends on where you are, because Brooklyn, New York has I don't know how many. I looked it up on Wikipedia one day, man. Like it's damn near close to 200 high schools, and half of them are based on religion and where you're from and how you grew up. It's tons of Jewish high schools. They're gonna teach their history. You know what I'm saying? There's not a whole lot of African-based high schools in this country. It's Chinese high schools in New York, everything except something black. It ain't no Jamaican high
there's
schools. It ain't no
Chinese high
Dominican
schools?
high schools.
Wait a minute, there's
Listen.
Chinese high school? Chinese high schools?
Yes,
Mhm.
bro.
There are Chinese schools here.
But just their
specifically.
kids go to it.
I
It's
actually
approved.
like opted out
It's,
of
it's so
teaching
it's
at a
Jewish
predominantly
Orthodox.
Asian school.
Listen, it's
Wait a minute,
Jewish Orthodox.
they speak Chinese there?
Yes.
It's Jewish Orthodox schools. It's
Mhm.
regular Jewish schools. It's Jewish high schools for just guys. It's Jewish high schools for just women.
My bad. Let me, why the fuck I sound fucking stupid? Because I went to school in fucking Italy. My bad.
It just
They
it's just
should be
depend on the
fucking-
region. It depends on the region.
They who don't laugh, fuck you. I'm looking at these niggas like, yo.
No, seriously.
Yeah, my
So
bad. Duh.
I actually about 3 years ago, right? Someone brought it to me, like, yo, I think it'd be really dope if you stepped into this other realm of
Shout out
yourself.
kids in
Like
high school.
you're an English teacher.
Flipping,
You
you
teach
better strip.
English.
Oh, go ahead. My bad. I thought you were talking about the other realm. Go ahead. My bad.
I took my glasses off and you thought I was gonna strip.
No, you said the other realm. That's what I thought. That's what this. He wanted you to step into the realm of nightlife. Not tonight. I didn't think he was about to do nothing tonight. No, we ain't doing it tonight. I thought that's what the man.
Christian,
My bad.
you ain't even really about that life, is what I'm saying to you. On for real.
Oh, Shilla Honda. Oh, Shilla.
So anyway, so when I looked at the situation, I really gave it some
Get the
consideration. Like,
subscribers
I
up.
would love to go work in an environment where the people don't look like me and they want to learn, right? And I've been interviewing with like schools overseas forever. And I'm just like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna like stay here and teach. So it's very different because the kids want to learn. They want to know more of my history than I'm interested in teaching them about theirs. Because in their minds, we already know our history. What you gonna teach us?
Well, yeah. I mean, y'all have heard it before. Black history is American history. So
It is,
I think
but
the way
they
you
don't
fix it-
teach it that way, and it's
I
not
know.
in the curriculum anymore, Twan.
think-
I
but
can
see,
show you my curriculum
I
right now,
believe
and
you.
it
I
has
believe
nothing to
you.
do with African American history.
But to say to that though, Precious, I believe you. But look, the way you change that, and this is a big thing. You got to get white Americans to agree with it. The way you change that is, especially at least in colleges, because there are white colleges that do teach that. A lot of them teach Black history, but they don't make you. But you don't have to take the class. You know what I'm saying? If they start making it because of where our country is and what it's built off of, until they start requiring you to take that class before you can graduate, I think that's where you have to start. I think you have to start there, bro. You cannot graduate from college unless you take Black history class. We couldn't graduate from high school if we didn't take white history classes.
So
It's time for Black people to start demanding the same thing.
how do you
How are you gonna demand it?
but how do you relegate
It's got a white cop locked up yesterday, so it's possible.
but how do you relegate racism?
You can't.
That's something. Hold on. Here's
What I
the
just
thing.
said. You can.
How do you relegate that? You can learn it, fine. You can go to school and learn African American history all day, but still be a racist in your heart of hearts.
Right.
But can I
You
say
can't
to
tell me
y'all?
you don't know.
Let's not let this verdict get us all like we can accomplish more shit. Let's
no.
not. I mean, we can, but we can not exponentially.
It's not
Listen,
even-
the reason we got this verdict is do you realize, like, after that man got killed, the narrative was a man gets killed, a man dies of like he has medical issues, dies in police custody. That was the news article. That was a news article. The man had medical issues. So it's like, really? Like, we'll be stopping. Because unless, like the Walter Scott situation down here in Charleston, unless it was the camera shit, that officer was about to get an award, bro.
I can
I'm
I
sorry.
can do you one. I can do you one even better.
Go
You
ahead.
still have 3 officers who were present and accounted for on this man's legs and back while Derek Chauvin's knee was on his neck.
Are they charging them with anything?
So
They
they
charged
didn't
him
want
for-
coming
to,
up.
so
Charged about
quote
the-
unquote, they didn't want to do like all of that at the same time because of COVID and too many people in the courtroom and this, that, and the third. But see, now everybody's had the opportunity to like build their case, right? So the cop that said, well, should we turn him over? Well, guess what? I bet you he gets a lesser sentence because it was his idea to say, oh, well, should we turn him over? But George Floyd was already dead at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He
Hey,
was already dead.
Precious, those other cops they looking for a deal now. They ain't going, look, they might not even go to court. They're gonna be looking for a deal now.
They got their scapegoat already.
Yeah.
The scapegoat is out of here.
I guarantee you will not see a
Suicide
court.
watch.
You will not see court for those other cops. They're gonna try to make a deal. Because they didn't already seen what their homeboy did, and they know they gonna go their way. They know it's not gonna go their way, bro.
What are they gonna say?
There's no way you can find them innocent and send the other one.
Yeah,
to
you
prison.
can't. You absolutely can't find him innocent in the verdict that Chauvin just had.
So
Like absolutely.
before you do 30 years, they're gonna start singing. What y'all want to know?
Who you sing on if the main man already got convicted?
Whatever they want to know, they're gonna say whatever. I know I'll be trying to do that. Look, this dude about to go away. He ain't gonna see the light of day no more. He shouldn't. We don't know that. We don't know yet. But I know that second degree murder carries 40 years by itself.
But I'm
You
saying
know
though,
what's the craziest part with this shit? Honestly,
Okay,
though,
cool.
just think about how much damn money the Minnesota is spending to defend these cops, knowing what
Crazy.
the hell was done and how easy that. I mean, that should have been. That's 1, 2, 3. But they spending money to bring in the dude to break down how this happened and how that happened and
no, Minnesota, they didn't pay for that.
they ain't paid nothing on it.
I don't think they paid for that.
Nowhere.
The state
The
absolutely.
tax dollars do pay for that. Who do you think pay
No.
for it?
Well,
The tax dollars are front and present.
Well, it's not. Well, if we're saying tax dollars, it's not just Minnesota. We're talking about the American tax dollars. Everyone's tax dollars. But I'm just saying, like when we're saying Minnesota, I'm thinking like the process. Like, did he? So normally police officers have like a union, like I think let's say who's maybe alluding to, you know what I'm saying, where they have like attorneys that they actually use that they are using. That was what I was the impression that I was given that he stated. But I think the state took the charges up against these officers. So I think a lot of this, I think Chauvin had a fucking GoFundMe.
Yeah. That was.
I mean, he had a GoFundMe, so you know what I'm saying. So
where that 27 mil came from?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So that 27 mil, it ain't come from the taxpayers, did it?
They did a GoFundMe for the kid that shot those people out in Oregon.
Wow.
White people will pay to keep criminals out of jail. That's the country we live in, bro.
Because usually the police department wash their hands with you. When shit like this happen, they wash their hands with you. You got to get outside, and people got to do GoFundMe, and you got to pay for it on your own. So that's why I was saying, like, I didn't know. Did we have to pay for it? Did Minnesota got to pay for it?
The way I be hearing it,
I don't know.
That's a lot of money.
That's a fucking lot of money,
the
bro.
way they moves, I don't know.
Dude, to get the specialists and all those.
They brought in all them specialists they brought in and all this foolishness they did. That's
So I'm sorry. I know I said I was done. I know, but I got a real big mouth. But who the hell is paying for all this extra detail and security around Potter's house because she shot and killed Dante Wright? Like, who's paying for that? Because she resigned from the police force.
White people.
You.
Oh, all right. No,
everybody lives in Minnesota.
The white people. White people.
Oh, okay.
The KKK.
Nah, the black people are too. It's coming out. They checks.
Well, they got GoFundMe. They do that all. They do that all day.
They can fund whatever. She going. Look, every cop is. Look, they nervous now, bro. They nervous. She shot dude in her own time frame. You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
So guys, we got them on their heels, and a white person's biggest fear is that black people are going to get in power, and we're going to do the same things that they've done to us to them. So what do? We got them on the hill. I don't say we got them on the hills, but we got their attention. Like we got white people speak. You got older white people just speaking to you out of the blue. You know, I know you guys have encountered that shit. Like just like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Normally that wouldn't happen. Like we got them, we got their attention. So like, what do? Because we got to come up with some solutions. Like
I don't think we can answer that question yet, Chris. I mean, if you beat a dog every day, what's he going to eventually do to you?
Depends on if you're his trainer.
But if you beat him,
it starts with some unity. If we don't get the unity together, then there ain't shit we can do.
I think where we start is where I mentioned it earlier is white America they have to be educated, bro. And they have to be willing to listen. And we're not asking them to be black. We're just asking them to hear our stories. And see, when something happens to us, when they can look at TV and see, that hurts. So when something happened to y'all, right? You see how that hurts us? That hurts. Now imagine if it was your kid. Because America hasn't held white America responsible or accountable for that. They don't worry about what's going to happen to their kids.
I think I may have just for the first time felt like really like downhearted about it. Like I don't, I kind of moved through this whole thing like, oh, white people are going to be white people and black people are going to be black people. But I think, I don't know, maybe I never really gave it.
It's got to be unity, man. I mean, Cool said it the best, bro. If it ain't no unity, it's going to continue to fight. And the way America is growing in terms of minorities, some say in 20 years, white America minorities would have caught up.
But it's amazing to me that they still have it. This is 2021.
Yeah, man,
like they still haven't. And the reality of the situation is there are more mixed marriages, biracial children than there have ever been.
Shit, look, for all the people that are opposed to that, that's hope. That's hope, though. That's hope. The commercials, you're seeing a lot more biracial commercials and stuff now.
All day.
All that type of stuff has to have to happen.
But the thing that they want to dominate, which is the military, is where it's breeding. That is where the whole mixture of like cultures and like men or black men are marrying white women and Hispanic and Latino. It's like that's where it's breeding in the military. And so good. It's like
that's good. So if ever white America tries to go to our military and says, y'all got to do something about this black problem in America, they gonna be like, look, man, I'm married to a black woman. I'm not doing that.
It's just weird. It's just weird to me that we're still having these kinds of conversations.
Listen, man, this has been an incredible show. We could talk forever. You feel me? But we got to get out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? This is incredible. We wish we could talk to y'all all night, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Hey, the other, we also got a show that's going to come out, or did it come out tonight? The show 23rd. On the Lieutenant.
23rd.
Huh?
The 23rd, right?
Yeah. So we may have two shows dropping tomorrow, man. But this show is definitely dropping tomorrow, man. Listen, you know what I'm saying? Before we get out of here, I would just like for everybody to say something, you know what I'm saying, as that's solution oriented. Let's keep it short and let's get out of here, man. What are y'all hoping comes out of this situation? Dream big on your answer. I'll start off. Okay.
That's the amount of people that are.
Gotcha.
That's the amount of people in the world today.
I'll start it.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
That was the amount of people in the world today.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Twan. You say you're gonna start?
Yeah, man. Hey, look, man, I'm really just gonna go back to something that Sekou said. It just caught me, and it's been held in my heart, man. Look, unity. Dating people that don't look like you. Learning something about people that don't look like you. You know what I'm saying? That's where it starts for me, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to come together, or we're gonna destroy ourselves, and that's what some people want. Chris, I suggest that you go, man. You go next.
We're gonna let him eat his donut. I'll go. Swallow your donut. Um, what I will say is that, we have a lot of work to do as a people. Um, we shouldn't discount what other cultures have going on. But again, it goes all the way back to we can't help someone else put out their fire when we have our own little fires happening everywhere. And so I think that it's absolutely necessary that we address our own issues, um, and be forthcoming, listen, be vulnerable. It's okay. Like, I don't know what to do, but I'm standing next to like my brother or my sister who may have like a better solution in my particular issue. Like, we have to be better with dealing with our own shortcomings before we jump in and try to put out fires everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Um, I think Black people need to be intentional about being Black, and I say that I say that by saying, like, go out your way to support somebody that looks like you. I don't give a fuck if you don't get the customer service that you, because what happens is a lot of us claim we get so much customer service at these other conglomerates and these brick and mortars, and we don't get that same fucking customer service. We get disrespected at Chinese restaurants, we get disrespected at hair stores, and we still patronize them. But we'll talk shit about these Black stores. Be intentional about being fucking Black. That's my thing, honestly. Being 100 about being Black. Be intentional about like loving the motherfucker. Like, a lot of people don't know, and I hope let this make sure this shit makes the end. When we cut this shit, to make sure this makes the end. See, a lot of people don't know. In the midst of this podcast, we had a little burnout, but let me be intentional about loving each other. I love each and every one of y'all, and it ain't never gonna stop. And see, what happens is a lot of us will cut a motherfucker off over one bad experience. If I go to a Black owned restaurant or a Black owned business and I have a bad experience, I don't go on social media and say, look at these motherfuckers. Because I don't go that shit when I go to Walmart and the motherfucker had to curse out at Walmart. I don't do that at Walmart. Why the fuck am I do it to a Black owned business that I know need my support more than Walmart need my goddamn support? But we go out of our way to goddamn shine on a Black person. We go out of our way to do that damn shit. And I'm sick.
I agree.
So
absolutely agree.
Thing. Be intentional about being Black. And I love y'all. Like,
That's
real talk.
That's an outstanding point, Chris.
Facts.
Say cool.
Like, salute for that.
I'm gonna say this. There ain't nothing that you guys already said. Anything I could say, but I'm just go back to the unity thing, and we have to be able to rock with, and we have to rock with us first. We have to rock with us first, and before we could expect anybody else to rock with us, we have to rock with us, and we just don't. We don't. You know what I'm saying? There's a good amount of us, whatever, but as a whole, we don't. You know what I'm saying? And they know that, and and they've helped to do that to us, for years, and we keep falling into it and keep doing the same shit. So we have to get past that and come together. You know what I mean? And that's the only way we're gonna get. That's the only way we're gonna get right. The only way. Right.
You know what's dope about this podcast? And I just realized it, like, within the past 30 seconds, like, everybody on this podcast individually has something else going on. Like, cool, you got your chef thing going on. I'm a makeup artist / school teacher / I kind of do a whole lot of stuff. Like, I do a lot of stuff. Like, Twan, you're like this like everybody has their thing. Like Christian, you're a barber. Like,
damn, you just go
no, I mean, no, and no, I'm not like skipping over people, but I'm
on. You
just
got
saying,
your
like,
Got your Funkos and
thank you.
it's like
Smurfs. He got his Sekou. He got his Smurfs.
There's no way in hell I was gonna just let it do that.
You just a Smurf king.
No, I wasn't trying to play you, but do understand.
Smurf king.
Come on, you got
Honey,
your
I would
toys
never.
and, you
I
know.
would absolutely never. I would never. But no, like we all have our individual things going on. But the really good thing is that, like, you know, it's Black business.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, like we have got to like just push that, like Black business in general. But what's your extra business, Twan?
I'm just a nigga who sit around the house, according to you.
I would never.
No.
I would never.
You know, I work in the medical field. I'm not going to tell you.
I know that.
They don't know that. But I also do other podcasts. I also run a sports podcast called Never Scared Sportscast, which is a part of Never Scared Media. So even when we're doing this, I do business with Sekou and Chris, and obviously Precious on this show. But me
So
and
I feel like I'm being cheated on because like I don't know nothing about the whole. I don't want to be a part of that. Let me just be clear.
That's the thing, you know. Never. Hey, people do.
Hey man, look, Black people are talented people, man. We do it all.
I do like a strip show. I talk to you about it.
No, you don't. Listen, man, look, last word before we get out of here, man. I'm gonna quote a Black woman. I don't want to say what her name is, but it was an incredible quote, and this is to white America. She says this: White America, listen, white America, get off of our tit. It is not our job to teach you how to treat us. It's not our job to educate you guys on how to treat us.
Say it again, Twan.
It is not our job to educate you on how to treat us.
Oh, that's my sister.
Yeah.
That's my sister. I know exactly who that is.
We're out. See you on the next show, man.